So earlier this evening, PlayStation put out a tweet saying that Insomniac Games was joining PlayStation's worldwide studios. And a lot of people are losing their shit over that in response to that, and I think that fair enough, you should be doing that, because obviously you wouldn't acquire a studio for no reason whatsoever. But as I discovered, thanks to the Discord, some people didn't quite understand what was going on with that, so I thought I'd explain what this means for Insomniac Games. And more importantly, the pressing question, will Marvel's Spider-Man get a sequel? Well, Sony felt the need to announce this in some capacity, which means that they want people to be excited for something. And as we all know, Insomniac Games made Marvel's Spider-Man, and it was an exclusive to the PS4. So the news that Sony's fully bought the studio could mean that they have a long-term roadmap that they want to plan out with Insomniac Games specifically, such as delegating the creation of certain exclusives to them. This doesn't necessarily immediately mean that Marvel's Spider-Man is going to get a sequel, but at the same time, what else would you buy this studio for? They have made other games like Sunset Overdrive for the Xbox One exclusively, Ratchet & Clank, Spyro the Dragon, and so on and so forth, so this doesn't necessarily mean that Insomniac Games will be strictly making Spider-Man games from here on out. But it makes me think, what if Sony wanted to turn it into a full-on franchise of PlayStation exclusive Spider-Man games? After the success of Marvel's Spider-Man in 2018, I'd imagine that financially speaking this would be a sound business decision. And since it's kind of blatant that Insomniac went into making Marvel's Spider-Man with the intention of eventually making a sequel, what with all the open-ended plot points such as Miles Morales and all of that stuff, off the bat this would have a lot of people's attention. So therefore I think that Sony probably intends to make a full-on series out of this, because they know that financial-wise they can probably benefit far more than they would lose on spending money in purchasing Insomniac Games. And at the same time, now they can directly fund Insomniac Games, and therefore more budget means, ideally, a better game. Though they could have bought this studio for other purposes, I'd say that the main purpose would probably be the concept of a Marvel Spider-Man sequel. Obviously don't quote me on that, and I'm not saying that's a dead cert that's what's happening, because I don't know what they're planning. They could plan some other game. For all we know, they could come back and they'd have Ratchet Battle Royale or something. Pretty sure if that happens, heads will roll, but you know what, cool. But if Sony's smart, which they've shown time and time again that for the most part they are, then I'd imagine that this more or less secures the prospect that Marvel's Spider-Man is getting a sequel. But I guess we'll have to wait and see maybe a few years to find out what they're going to be working on. And whatever it is, there's no doubt that they'll be working on something good. Anyways, I think I've detained you for long enough, as there's not really much to discuss beyond the news that is there, which is Sony has acquired Insomniac Games. Of course, be sure to let me know what you think down in the comment section. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, share the channel with your friends and all that wonderful stuff, and I'll see you all very soon with another video at some point.